Welcome to 5 and 5 with Miller and Mango, your go-to source for all things finance with a twist of culture infused into every episode. Join your hosts, seasoned financial professional Miller and marketing maverick Mango, as they discuss 5 of the latest market and cultural trends and help you instill common sense into the ever-changing landscape of finance, all within 5 minutes. It's time to dive into the numbers, unravel market mysteries, and discover the strategies that matter. Welcome to 5 and 5 with Miller and Mango.
Hello and welcome back to 5 and 5 with Miller and Mango. I'm your host, Mike Manganello, with my co-host, Miller Hoffman.
Happy December, everyone.
And we're recording this on December 5th, so 5 and 5 on the 5th.
It's all lining up. The stars are aligning, and I feel good. What's on the docket today, Mike?
We are about to ramp up in the holiday season, so we're going to jump right into it. The first topic I'm going to call Bitcoin to the moon. Bitcoin just surpassed $42,000 mark and is at the 18th-month high. What can we credit that to?
I don't know if there's a single topic we could attribute it to, but for me, it's really showing the resiliency in that overall space. Now, you don't have to love it, you don't have to hate it, but you have to recognize it at this point. It's been around for long enough. It seems like that industry is really maturing, maybe quicker or slower than some, depending on who you talk to, would want. But we've really seen it come under a lot of pressure from a lot of the important people in that industry. The leader of FTX really going down. We see some problems within Binance right now. So how the federal government is continuing to field this ground ball and go for the out, we'll see how that continues to play out. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I've been following it for the last couple of years. It's been a roller coaster, some highs, some lows. It seems like it's stabled a little bit. Again, no guarantees. But yeah, I think as we move forward with regulations coming through, not saying it's going to go to the moon, but something you need to keep your eye on, I'll say. Something that people should start looking at a little more than they are.
Yeah, we're seeing younger and younger investors and people holding that as a portion of their portfolio too. So I think there's some survivability with, if nothing else, people are hanging on to it, and younger people are hanging on to it.
Yep.
So again, love it or hate it, it exists, and I think it's time we recognize it.
Moving on to the holiday season, people are going out and buying Christmas trees again. However, they are hitting an all-time high. And I know the last couple of years there was a supply and demand issue with the growing of the trees. But as we're going out there, I think the average cost I've seen is raised 20% to maybe $70 a tree. And again, depending on how many feet you want. But that is pricey now.
It is pricey. The holidays tend to be an expensive time anyway, but even more so if you have to have the live tree and some of the things that come along with that. I was surprised to see in the article that it takes around 8 to 10 years to grow the tree. For some reason, that just completely went over my head of, it takes a year and they'll replant and, you got your Christmas tree again. And what a poor assumption on my end. 8 to 10 years. So there's quite a bit of turnover and having to replace and making sure you're managing the growth over time.
Yeah.
8 to 10 years is a long time.
I'm going to throw out a stat that's probably not real, but I would say North Carolina is probably the top 3 states that produces Christmas trees.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of times the Rockefeller tree comes from the great state of North Carolina.
There we go.
Yes.
I think it's neat, too, in terms of, price increases. This is definitely like a surplus type thing. You don't have to have a live tree, and although I think a lot of people do go into debt for the holidays, buying gifts or things that they can't afford. A Christmas tree is kind of one of those extra things you can purchase if you want to, but certainly not required. So I think maybe people are a little bit more willing to pay more for kind of a splurge type item.
I moved to a fake tree the last couple of years, giving in.
However, we're fake for the win.
New fake trees are very expensive.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I think we've had a fake tree for quite a long time, and I grew up that way as well. So fake trees for the win.
All right, back to a little finance here. The S&P 500's feverish late year rally has brought the index to its highest closing level of 2023. Are we about to hit a bull market?
Surprise, surprise. We've had another roller coaster year coming off of 2022, which was pretty poor across the board. 2023 has certainly had its highs and lows, and knock on wood, we're peaking at a really good time towards the end of this year. Mango, I'm really leery to come out and say, yes, we're in a bull market and everything's great, or the opposite. There's enough talking heads out there that do that. You don't need to hear that again from me. my point would be able to say, respect the power of the markets, especially when we think of things long term. Whether we're in a bull market or a time of expansion, a bear market where things contract a little bit, if we have a long-term time horizon, we have that ability to take on that risk as investors, the stock market is a wonderful way of wealth creation. So stay invested regardless of what the headlines are telling you, either good or sometimes bad too. What do you think?
I'm kind of with you. You just have to be informed. You have to stay with it. It don't make any rash decisions. The term bull market, bear market, just keep your eyes on it and make sure your financial advisor is following it.
There you go. I like
Take it away from the consumer.
That's it. Very good.
Now, talking about wealth creation, as we are hitting the holiday season, I just wanted to look at, first of all, have you ever been to a movie on actual Christmas Day?
I have not, but I know there's a large segment of the population that does.
Yes.
So.
I remember as a kid, we did go to one. I don't remember the movie we went to, but I just wanted to see if you can name at least one or two highest grossing movies that were released on Christmas Day.
I'd imagine my favorite, The Grinch, has to be in there somewhere, either the classic versions or some of the new iterations they've come out with since. I don't even know if the classic would have been released.
So The Grinch is actually the highest grossing movie that is holiday specific.
Okay.
So it's interesting aspects. So movies that were released on Christmas Day, Star Wars, most recent Star Wars all gotten released on Christmas. So the first one is actually Star Wars #7, The Force Awakens. Almost $50 million on Christmas.
Wow.
I think the most popular that I kind of remember now looking back at it, because actually it was last year, was the newest Avatar was released last year on Christmas Day.
Makes sense.
It's about $30 million.
Wow.
But I always thought it's an interesting aspect of one of the major releases is on Christmas Day, because I think a lot of people probably in the afternoon get a little tired, don't want to be around people. Let's just head to the movies.
There you go. I like it. And spend all your Christmas money on popcorn and candy.
Yes.
They will take it from you for sure.
I don't know any of the releases coming out, but I'm sure there'll be some big ones.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
And our last and most our favorite segment, Explain It to Me Like a Fourth Grader, we're going to dive into 401ks, which kind of goes into line with timelines of end-of-year contributions. Mm-hmm. So we'll love to hear if you explain it to me. What is a 401k?
Yeah, and a couple of things I think people get wrong or maybe misconceptions about the 401k. Think of a 401k as a retirement vehicle, so we get some tax advantages that's associated with your employer. So an employer oftentimes is going to offer it as a perk to the job. They're going to say, hey, Mango, come work for us. We'll give you a 401k, and maybe we'll even match some of your contributions. But overall, a 401k is an excellent place for you to look to save, thinking long-term for retirement style living. Something I hear wrong all the time that I want to correct, a 401k inherently does not make you any money. So oftentimes people will say, well, what's your 401k doing this year, or what's the rate that it's getting? Well, the 401k is just the tax provision in the tax code that allows you to put money on the sideline. You still have to go select the investments that go inside the 401k. So we could have a really aggressive 401k that goes up and down to a pretty high degree. We could also have a really conservative one that's largely invested in very safe or very stable style investments. May not grow as much, and then everything in between. Yeah. So if you are participating in a 401k, awesome. That's the first step to saving. But make sure we do that second step. Make sure it's invested in something that matches you really well. Yep. It may not be what your neighbor is invested in or one of your peers. That's a personal conversation here for you. So an excellent way to save for retirement, Mike, I think is the important takeaway. Just make sure you're using it as best as you can would be my guidance.
And again, I go back to probably educating yourself with your employees, what they offer, what they contribute, so you have understanding that. And then I'm assuming those potentially could change every year with an employee?
They change all the time, really, as the government wants to adjust them for inflation. Okay. So I believe we are due for another change next year. Okay. But it'll be right around the $20,000 mid-20s year for people under 50 and closer to 30,000, all things considered, for those over 50. So take a look and really use those plans.
Great. Well, that ends it. That ends our 5 and 5. That was recorded on the 5th. This was our 7th episode. Again, please let us know what else you would like for us to talk about, review, like, share. We're trying to build a good following for us. and we're happy to do this. And, we're about to hit the holiday season. We got one more before Christmas time. I'm excited. How about you? You ready for the holidays?
We're ready. It's a race to New Year's, I think, and then 2024
right around the
tax
corner.
season starts soon after. So that's where my mind goes.
Excellent. Well, thanks for listening. Have a good one.
TradeWinds LLC is an investment advisory firm that is registered with the Securities Exchange Commission. Registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training. TradeWinds will not accept trade offers online, and any such request, orders, or instructions that you send will not be accepted and will not be processed. This presentation has been provided for informational purposes only and is not intended as legal, tax, or investment advice or a recommendation of any particular security or strategy. The investment strategy and themes discussed herein may be unsuitable for investors depending on their specific investment objectives and financial situation. Information obtained from third-party sources is believed to be reliable, though its accuracy is not guaranteed. Opinions expressed in this commentary reflect subjective judgments of the author based on conditions at the time of the publication and are subject to change without notice. Past performance is not indicative of future results.